You know what's weird? People spend months researching before they start investing, reading articles, watching videos, trying to understand everything perfectly. And then you know what happens? They never actually start. Like they're so afraid of making a mistake that they just stay on the sidelines forever while their money loses value to inflation sitting in a savings account. Yeah, so I did the exact same thing. I spent like 6 months learning about investing before I put a single dollar into the market. And looking back, that was 6 months of missed growth and 6 months where I could have been learning by actually doing instead of just consuming information. The whole time I was trying to eliminate risk by learning everything first, but the real risk was never starting at all. My name is Don, and I used to think I needed to become a financial expert before I could invest, when really I just needed to understand like 5 basic things and then actually start. Turns out the biggest difference between people who build wealth through investing and people who don't isn't knowledge, it's action. And today I'm going to show you exactly what to do in your first 90 days of investing, so you can stop researching and start actually building wealth. Before we get into it, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button if you want to see more content about building wealth and making smarter money decisions. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to realize that getting started with investing is way simpler than you think. And waiting until you feel ready is just costing you money. All right, let's break down your first 90 days into 3 distinct phases. Days 1 to 30 is about setup and making your first investment. Days 31 to 60 is about building consistency and understanding what you actually own. And days 61 to 90 is about creating systems that make investing automatic. Let's start with days 1 through 30. Days 1 to 30. Set up your accounts and make your first investment, even if it's small. So here's the thing about starting to invest. The hardest part isn't learning some complicated strategy or understanding the stock market. The hardest part is just opening an account and putting actual money in. And I delayed this for so long because I was overwhelmed by choices and scared I'd pick the wrong platform or make some costly mistake. Here's what you need to do in week 1. Pick a brokerage and open an account. And before you spend 3 weeks comparing every possible brokerage, let me save you some time. Vanguard, Fidelity, or Charles Schwab. Pick one. They're all good, they all have low fees, and they all make it easy to invest in index funds, which is what you should be doing anyway. I went with Fidelity because the interface seemed simple and they have good customer service, but honestly, it doesn't matter that much. You're not married to this choice. If you hate it later, you can transfer your investments to a different brokerage. But you need to just pick one and move forward. Opening the account takes like 20 minutes. You'll need your social security number, bank account info, and basic personal information. That's it. Once you link your bank account, you can transfer money in. And here's what I want you to do. Transfer in whatever amount you're comfortable starting with. Could be $100, could be $500, could be $1,000. The amount doesn't matter nearly as much as you think it does. Now here's where most beginners get stuck. They have money sitting in their brokerage account, and they freeze because they don't know what to buy. So let me make this really simple for you. In week 2, you're going to buy shares of one thing, an S&P 500 index fund or a total stock market index fund. At Fidelity, you could buy FXAIX, which is their S&P 500 index fund, or FSKAX, which is their total market fund. At Vanguard, it would be VFIAX or VTSAX. At Schwab, it's SWPPX or SWTSX. These funds have super low expense ratios like 0.015% or similar, which basically means they cost almost nothing to own. When I made my first purchase, I bought $500 worth of FXAIX. And I remember being so nervous clicking that buy button, like I was making this huge, irreversible decision. But you know what? It was completely anticlimactic. I clicked buy, the shares showed up in my account, and that was it. No fireworks, no disaster, just 5 shares of an index fund sitting there. Here's what you're doing by buying an index fund. You're instantly diversifying across hundreds or thousands of companies. If you buy an S&P 500 fund, You own a tiny piece of the 500 biggest companies in America. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, all of them. And if you buy a total market fund, you own a piece of essentially the entire US stock market. Week 3 is about understanding what you just bought and why it matters. This is when you should spend some time learning how index funds work, why they're recommended for beginners, and what returns you can realistically expect. Historically, the stock market returns about 10% per year on average. Some years way more, some years negative, but over long periods, it averages out to around 10%. And week 4 is about checking in without freaking out. Look at your account, see how the value changes day to day. And here's the key thing: don't panic when it goes down. It will go down sometimes. That's normal. You're not trying to time the market or sell when it's high and buy when it's low. You're just holding it and letting it grow over years and decades. By the end of your first 30 days, you should have an account open, money invested in an index fund, and a basic understanding of what you own. That's it. You're officially an investor. Everything else builds on this foundation. Days 31 to 60. Build the habit of consistent investing and learn to ignore market noise. All right, so you've made your first investment. Now comes the part where most people either build momentum or fall off completely. Your goal for days 31 through 60 is to establish investing as a regular habit, not just a one-time thing you did. In week 5, I want you to set up automatic investments. This is probably the single most important thing you'll do in your first 90 days. Most brokerages let you schedule recurring investments where money automatically moves from your bank account to your brokerage account and buys shares of your chosen fund. Set this up for whatever amount you can consistently afford. Maybe it's $50 every 2 weeks when you get paid. Maybe it's $200 once a month. The specific amount matters way less than the consistency. I started with $100 per month because that's what I could afford without stressing about my other bills. Here's why automation is so crucial. It removes the decision-making from investing. You're not sitting there every month deciding whether to invest or not, analyzing whether now is a good time, or talking yourself out of it because you want to spend that money on something else. It just happens automatically, and you build wealth without having to think about it. Week 6 is when things get interesting because you'll start to experience the psychological challenges of investing. You'll probably check your account and see that your investment is down a little bit. Or maybe it's up and you'll feel tempted to sell and take the profit. Both of these impulses are traps. Let me tell you about my experience with this. About a month after I started investing, the market had a bad day and my account was down like $30. I immediately started panicking and researching whether I should sell before it went down more. And I'm so glad I didn't, because 2 weeks later it was back up and then some. This is where you need to understand something fundamental about investing. You're not a trader trying to buy low and sell high. You're a long-term investor buying and holding for years or decades. The day-to-day movements of the market literally do not matter to your strategy. In fact, when the market goes down and you keep investing automatically, you're buying shares at a discount, which is actually good for you long-term. Week 7 is about learning to ignore financial news, and I mean really ignore it. CNBC, MarketWatch, all those sites that make investing sound like gambling, just stop checking them. They make money by getting your attention, so they sensationalize everything. Market crashes. Best stocks to buy now. Is a recession coming? It's all noise designed to make you emotional and reactive. Your strategy for the next 30 years is buy index funds consistently and hold them forever. Nothing that happens on any given day or week or even year changes that strategy. So why would you consume news that's going to make you want to deviate from the strategy that actually works? Week 8, I want you to calculate your cost per share and understand dollar cost averaging. If you've been investing $100 per month for 2 months, and in month 1 you bought shares at $50 each, then in month 2 the price dropped, and you bought shares at $45 each, you just averaged your purchase price. You bought more shares when they were cheaper. This is dollar cost averaging, and it's a huge advantage of consistent investing. By the end of days 31 to 60, you should have automatic investments set up. You should have experienced some market volatility without panicking. And you should understand that consistency matters way more than trying to time anything. This is where the habit gets cemented. Days 61 to 90. Optimize your system and plan for long-term success. All right, you're 2 months into investing. You've got money in the market, you've got automatic investments happening, and hopefully you've seen your account grow a little bit. Now it's time to optimize and think bigger picture. Week 9 is about reviewing and potentially increasing your contribution. Look at your budget and see if you can afford to increase your automatic investment even a little bit. Maybe you started with $50 per month, and now you realize you could do $75. Or maybe you started at $100 and you can bump it to $125. Even small increases compound significantly over time. Going from $100 to $125 per month doesn't sound like a big deal, but over 30 years at 10% returns, that extra $25 per month becomes an additional $60,000. So if you can increase your contribution even slightly, it's worth doing. Week 10, this is when you should start thinking about tax-advantaged accounts if you haven't already. If you've been investing in a regular taxable brokerage account, that's fine. But you should also look into opening a Roth IRA or contributing to your employer's 401k if they offer one. A Roth IRA is awesome because you put in money that's already been taxed, but then it grows tax-free forever, and you can withdraw it in retirement without paying taxes. The contribution limit for 2025 is $7,000 per year, which is about $583 per month. If you can max this out, you should. And if your employer offers a 401k match, that's literally free money. If they match 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary, and you're not contributing at least 6%, you're leaving money on the table. This should be a priority. I split my investing between a Roth IRA and my 401k now, but I started with just a taxable brokerage account because I didn't understand the difference. And that's okay. You can always adjust as you learn more. The important thing is that you started. Week 11 is about setting long-term goals and understanding what you're building toward. You're not investing just to invest. You're building wealth for specific reasons. Maybe it's retirement. Maybe it's financial independence. Maybe it's buying a house or funding your kids' education. Get clear on what you're working toward. For me, my goal is financial independence by 55. I want enough invested that I could theoretically retire at 55 if I wanted to, even if I choose to keep working. Having that specific goal helps me stay motivated when investing feels boring, or when I'm tempted to spend money on something else instead. Calculate what you'd need to hit your goal. If you want $1 million by age 65 and you're 30 now, you need to invest about $430 per month at 10% returns. Seeing the actual number makes it feel real and achievable instead of just this vague, I should invest for the future thing. Week 12, your final week of the first 90 days, is about committing to the long-term strategy and deciding what your ongoing relationship with investing will look like. How often will you check your accounts? How often will you increase contributions? What will you do during market crashes? Here's what I decided for myself. I check my accounts once per month, usually on the first of the month. I review my automatic investments to make sure they're still happening. And I commit to increasing my contribution by $25 to $50 every 6 months if I can afford it. That's my whole system. It's simple, it's consistent, and it doesn't require constant attention. I also made a rule for myself. During market crashes, I do nothing. No selling, no checking my accounts every day, no changing my strategy. I just let my automatic investments keep happening, which means I'm buying at lower prices. Every market crash in history has eventually recovered, so panicking and selling is the worst thing you can do. By the end of day 90, you should have a complete system for building wealth through investing. You have accounts set up, money automatically investing every month, an understanding of why you're doing this and what you're building toward, and a commitment to staying the course for years or decades. Let me tell you what this first 90 days did for me. I went from someone who'd been thinking about investing for months without doing anything to someone who had actual money in the market working for me. In those first 90 days, I invested about $300 total between my initial investment and my first couple automatic contributions. That $300 is worth like $800 now, several years later. And that's just from getting started and staying consistent. But more importantly, I built the habit and the knowledge that's allowed me to keep investing consistently ever since. Those first 90 days weren't about getting rich. They were about building the foundation for decades of wealth building. Here's what I want you to understand. You don't need to know everything about investing to start. You don't need thousands of dollars. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You just need to do these basic things: open an account, buy index funds, automate contributions, and stay consistent. Every day you wait to start is a day of potential compound growth you're missing. And compound growth over decades is how regular people build serious wealth. Not by picking winning stocks or timing the market perfectly, but by starting early, staying consistent, and letting time do the heavy lifting. Your first 90 days of investing won't make you rich, but they'll set you on a path that absolutely can make you wealthy over time. And the difference between people who build wealth through investing and people who don't usually comes down to whether they actually started and stayed consistent, not how smart they were or how much money they had initially. So, if you're watching this and you haven't started investing yet, your first 90 days start today. Not tomorrow, not next month, not when you feel more ready. Open an account this week. Make your first investment next week. Set up automation the week after that. And 3 months from now, you'll be an investor with a working system instead of someone who's still researching and planning to start someday. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. And drop a comment telling me if you're already investing or if this video is finally going to get you to start. I love hearing from people who are taking action on this stuff. Thanks for watching, and remember, the best time to start investing was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. Your first 90 days start now. I'll see you in the next one.